Welcome to Knackerbox Garage, a Scratchy Pants production. I think I said in the last video that we'd go to probably more riding videos, and yet B44 time. So what's happening is I took it for a spin and then came back and there was primary fluid leaking from somewhere, and I'm guessing it's coming out of one of these holes, which means something's not sealing quite right in there. I'm not sure what the quantity of fluid is in there. So what I'm going to do, I'll look at you. Got a big baby shower coming up, and I say it's big not because we've got a big baby, but we seem to have 1 million people coming to the house. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I've got a short ride coming up. I just want to make sure I've got the right quantity in there. So I'm going to break this. I know it's held in there with RTV and all sorts of stuff. Drain the fluid out. I know the primary chain is good. Doesn't need any attention. The gearbox side is good as well. Engine oil level is good. Everything is working as it should. Yeah, brake pedal works. I mean, she's a solid little bike, this one. Now, she's a solid little bike now. When we first got her, yeah, not so much. But now she's been Simonized, we're in good shape. So I'm going to just do a quick fluid swap on this, and that'll be that. And then she'll come off, go into the garage, put the Ricky back up here, and then lift it way up out of the way out of small, sticky, fingered little children for the weekend. Because the last thing I want is some poor little kid to touch this and then be murdered by me for leaving a sticky print on it. So I'm just going to put it up out of the way, out of harm's way. Seems the easiest thing to do. Action shot. This is where we can see that I've got mostly really good condition ATF in the primary. Probably enough of it that it didn't need to be looked at. But where the primary is separate from the engine, so that BSAs, these two aren't connected. On later ones they may breathe through one of the bearings, but on the Triumphs they breathe through the main bearing here. So what's in the engine ends up in the primary. So you can't run separate primaries. Unless, of course, you've blocked off the bypass and put a sealed bearing in there, like what I have on Lucy. So Lucy runs ATF in the primary as well as straight 40 in the oil tank in the engine. And that's what exactly this does. So I'm just going to let this drain out. There shouldn't be much in there, and that's about the right amount. It should be like 150 cc's. If we're dripping a bit, when I fill it, I'll probably put 170 in there, just to allow it room to drop a few drips. And that'll be that. Yeah, I think it's, I mean, that's the perfect amount, so I didn't really have to worry. I just don't like bikes that leave their mark, really. Although most of mine do, so there we go. Anyway, we'll seal that back up, pop the cover, and then use the cow inseminator to fill it back with the right amount of primary fluid. Alrighty, so here is some ATF. Here is 150, 170. One fully filled cow inseminator. Put the lid on the ATF bottle. Let it all run out. Just get a bit of, whoops, that'll help it run out. You don't need to watch this just drain in. So let me just, there we go. That's all pumped through. We'll call that it. I've got my special little breather cover. It's a breather cover because it's got a little hole in it and then a mesh on the other side. This was a fitment to the bigger, the B50s, because they tend to suffer with crank or primary pressure. That's it. That was it. That was the whole reason of getting this on the lift, just to see what the state of things were underneath. I don't think there's anything else that needs tidying up. I know my engine sump plate does weep a little, but that's engine oil. So I think that's it. So this is now ready. I may put a bit of chrome cleaner on it and maybe add the odd Knackerbox garage sticker to it. But apart from that, she's ready for the $1,000 bike challenge. So, a little bit of swap round on the bench. We've set the BSA up for the ride on Saturday, and unfortunately it's like we're going to have rain, so we may have to postpone it. I think if I can get away with, like, if it says 35 to 40% rain, that's mostly sunshine, well, dry. I think we're on. If it's the wrong side of 50, I think we're just going to push it a couple of weeks. Anyway, on the bench is my friend the Guzzi. So, went out and did like 100 miles yesterday. Front brake pads, front brake conversion, brilliant. Absolutely superb. Riding position, not so great. Not so great. I'm not really enjoying it. My legs are way up. So what I'm thinking is, with the careful use of an angle grinder and maybe an incision about here, I can drop the footrest down. I think I only need to come down an inch. So if I can come down, I mean, if you look over the top, we can bring it down a bit, get close to the exhaust. The gear shifter can come down a bit. And if I swap over on the other side, because the brake lever's held on the shaft like this, the brake lever can come down a bit as well. So I really can just simply undo this, drop it down, and then drop this one down. To adjust the gear lever, I've got room in here, and I can also drop the lever off the back. There's a spline. I don't know if you can see that. There's a spline there where my finger is. I can undo the bolt, push it off, drop it down the spline, push it back, now drop everything down, which will, help me with the gear shift. So that's easy. I've taken the plunge and purchased a used complete setup, actually. So I could perhaps almost, modify everything if I need to. Like I could do a cut gear lever and all that kind of stuff, which may be easy in trying to move that, to be honest. But anyway, upshot is I'm going to have a spare one of these, new footrest rubbers front and back, and it's incision and drop. Both sides to the tune of, I think an inch will do it. I mean, I'm just a little bit too high, which is making me roll my back. So it's lower back pain, it's the sacral support. You could say this is I could get a sacral belt, and I think they're like $70, $80. Whereas new footrests, the whole assembly is a little bit more. But it's too late, I bought it. So it is my intention to absolutely take a good pair of these. And as you can see, if you look, this one's a little bent. So, and then this one is a little bent that way. So if these are the best pair or the worst pair, I'll be cutting up these. If the new ones are worse, I'll cut up those. So I will try and keep the best pair of these to do it. I've also noticed I'm melting my shoe on the exhaust, which is great. Not particularly happy about that. Although my riding boots don't show any marks. Oh, well, they're down there. Anyway, so that's it. That's the latest project, Operation Footrest Drop. I'm going to wait until those come, the replacement footrests, and we'll start on that. Other than that, there's not much going on in the garage. Like I say, we've got the ride on Saturday. Hopefully the weather's good, but we'll call it tomorrow. Today is Wednesday. And then after that, we've got Bennington, in which I'm hoping to be on this. But if I can't alter the riding position sufficiently, I'll be on the Tiger. So we're looking at the brake pedal here and the relationship with the footrest. It's roughly level. It's a bit up actually, which I was surprised at. I've pulled the pinch bolt out, and what I'm going to try and do is do this one-handed, because if I take it out and rotate it just one spline, it's going to give me the right amount of fall. So I think I can drop this down to about here and get the right amount of leverage. I think that's one spline, maybe that's two splines. I think it's one. Anyway, that gives me the right amount of foot drop that I'm trying to achieve, I think. So I've ordered, like I said, probably in the last clip, I've ordered a pair of these. I will find out which ones are the worst, modify them to drop this piece down to about here, so it's that height, and we'll go from there. But it looks, you know, it's possible. It all looks very encouraging. And I'm obviously doing this side because it's the easiest side, because the other side is a little bit harder to do. But anyway, there we go. So those items should be with me. I doubt if it's tomorrow, probably Saturday or early next week. I will try them out and see if that makes the change. I'll rough them out first, and then if it does work, I can then clean them up and paint them. But it'll be a fairly easy job, and I'll modify the ones which are the worst. The ones I think I've got coming are probably in better condition than this, so that could just be a very interesting thing. Anyway, there we go. So, the Guzzi. I've had a bit of a change of heart. Well, not a bit of a change of heart. You'll notice I've got I don't know whether I've taken these off before, maybe I have. I've got the original foot pegs back on. And the reason being that when you drop these down, which I did on the other side, your foot is right next to the exhaust pipe. And knowing that I've already, don't want you to see it, got some shoe on here, having that on both sides to me just seemed like a terrible idea. So I've gone back to the original foot pegs and put it all back to normal. So there it is. It's going to stay that way. I am going to learn to sit properly and have proper posture, which is what I should have done before, but I was a lazy, unfit, fat fucker. And, sorry, bleep that bit out. We're like, no, I won't. I'll just leave it there. So I've just got to learn to sit properly and use the seat to prop up my lower spine and sit upright, like a guy on a horse, like a hunt jockey, I guess. One thing I have done, which I haven't videoed because I did it very quickly, was to pull the slides out and raise the needles one notch. And I did that because we've got a bit of an AI push on at work. I was playing around on Claude and got bored of asking it worky type things. So I said, what do you know about Motor Guzzi 850Ts? Fitted with 30mm PHB carburetors. I've got a slight hesitation when I crack the throttle open from initial, from closed. Just, you know, its initial thing, it's a bit hesitant. And I figured it was like I figured I should try lifting the needles. And anyway, it asked me a few questions, ignition circuit, what I was using, what the timing was, and all that stuff. So I went through all that, and then basically said, you know, the best thing you could do is raise the needles a notch. And I'm like, why didn't I just do it? Anyway, so I did that, put it all back together, and I did that yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to start it or do anything. So the first thing I did was wheel it outside, and it's a bit of a damp day, so I didn't go very far. But anyway, I flipped the enrichers, turned the key, hit the button, and it started instantly. And if you remember, I've been complaining about this not being that quick a starter, which was a little bit of a letdown because I thought it should. So that was the first thing that got fixed, and I'm very happy about that. And then I rode it down the road, let it get a bit warm after it sat there for a bit, and then purposefully was in too high gear and opened the throttle, and away it went. No hesitation, no nothing. So I'm currently sitting at the top. Sorry, I've got the clip at the bottom, so the needles are as high as they can be, and it runs absolutely bloody lovely. I'm going to keep an eye on it and make sure that the plugs don't go black and get all sooty, which will tell me it's slightly too rich. But I think we're here. I think we've got it. I think we've got it working exactly the way it should work, which I'm really happy about. The 2-disc conversion works really well. It could be possibly the best, one of the best. Well, fixing the oil leak was the best thing I did to this, but I'm really happy with the way this worked out. I think what I'm going to do is I kind of need new. Look, they're slightly oily. My fork stanchions are a little oily, so I think I need new fork seals. I'm going to invest in a pair of those. I've got a half-filled cart with MG Cycle of stuff that I want. So I'll do that. I'm toying with the idea of putting the chrome cylinder head protector guards that go around here. Only thing that I know my knee's close. I don't really want anything now that's going to get in the way and bang my knee. And I've got these protectors, so I think they're pretty good. I had toyed with the idea of putting some form of like highway peg thing on. My legs don't stretch past here. It's actually easier for me to just lay my legs over the top here. If I need a stretch, that's good. What I will be doing is probably getting off and walking more, so we'll have more frequent stops. I did trial fit the tail bag. Here it is. This is what I'm using for my trip. I want to get one of those mesh thingies to go on there, and so I can put my waterproofs on when we go out for a ride when we're up in Bennington. That will sit on there, which would be great. Other than that, she is ready to rock and roll and is running the best I've ever had her running so far. So that's really good. I'm very happy about that. So we're going to have to find something else to do. So I think what our next video is likely to be, because it's probably short and we may actually break into the next video, is I'm intent on taking my GoPro with me to Bennington, part of the ride and some of the riding. So it'll be a Knackerbox Garage on the road episode, I think, is what's coming next. Hurrah! Okay. So back on my favourite Italian bike, my only Italian bike, the Moto Guzzi. I raised the needles to the highest position and took it for a ride yesterday, and it rode really, really well. We did a ride out to the Star Drive-In with a couple of the guys from the club, and looking at the spark plug, I'd say that's ever so slightly rich, but I think that's pretty good. I think we're going to say that I've got the mixture spot on for regular running, so highest needles position is the right thing. I just checked the oil, didn't burn any oil. I'm potentially going out for a ride with a different friend of mine this afternoon just to see. We'll go local, we don't know how to go far. So this will be the bike of choice. So what's coming up next? Got a 2-week wait till Bennington. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll be riding home from Bennington, Vermont, from the Bennington Triumph Bash. I will be riding the Guzzi. We did 100 miles yesterday. I was comfortable. I focused on posture and keeping my back upright and not rolling my lower back. That's the secret. I think I can just work on that. It's a kind of a shame that the footrest change didn't work, but in a way it's also good that it didn't work because I keep the bike standard, so that's easy. Yeah, so I've got a tail bag to put on. I've got take some waterproofs with me just in case. I've ordered some additional straps for my Krieger 20 litre tail bag. I'll put my day riding stuff in that, so that'll have like waterproof suit, air compressor, and stuff like that in it, which I can then use on the bike Friday, Saturday, and then put it either on top of or inside the big tail bag that I've got to hold all my clothes and stuff. I think I'll go minimal on clothing. Usually I have one shirt for riding and a couple of shirts for the evening, as many underpants, pair of jeans, pair of shorts, pair of sandals to walk around with at night, and that's it. Oh, toothbrush, toothpaste, won't need to shave, and then just, you know, as you get older, the medicines, you need my blood pressure medicine, so I'll make sure I take that. Yeah, that's it. Just check, like I say, check the oil on this, everything's good. Just going to raise it and lower it, so let's do that. Go up and down. Up you come. Down you come. Turn off the valve. So hopefully the next video clip will be from the chest mount riding said Guzzi. I do want to take the Rickman out today, so maybe we'll do a little bit of chest mount video on this. This is just the opposite in riding experience. It's loud, it's visceral, it's super responsive, and I really like it. So that's it for this episode. See you on the next one. If you like what you see, like, subscribe, I don't know, add a comment. It's all good stuff.